Sunday night sound session with John Moore and DJ Hyphen on KUBE 93.
All right, y'all, DJ Hyphen.
J Moore.
Sunday night sound session right now, joined in studio by a very special guest. Introduce yourself.
Legendary.
My name is Raphael Saadiq.
Yes, welcome to the studio, man.
It's good to be here, man.
You like our new building?
I didn't see the old one, actually. So, yeah, it's all good to me.
How about, do you like Seattle? Is that an easier
I love
question?
Seattle. I love Seattle, you know. So air is fresh. Kind of reminds me of my hometown, like the Bay Area a little bit. Got that, you know, all that fresh air coming off the water. It's real cold. I was a little surprised when I got here today. I was like, oh, I had to put on an extra jacket. It's like,
Not quite summer yet.
Nah,
here.
it's okay, though.
No. So you're on tour to support the new album, Stone Rollin', in stores now. Tell the people a little bit about this project.
This record is it's like 10 songs on a record. It's a little, I think it's a departure from my last record. You know, it's not really like the Motown record, but it's more of a 60s, 70s type of, more of a, you know, more aggressive with, you know, the drums and the guitars. You know, it's always live instruments for me, but I think this one has more of a feel of a couple different things. Like Over You has this kind of touch of like a Beastie Boys, Rick Rubin type of rock kind of guitars. You know, the repetitive Run DMC type of joint. And I did some stuff more like more bluesy. It's a lot more bluesy, a lot more guitars. Then I have Goodman, which is more I call it like 70s early Delphonics gangster Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, that's the record we've been playing the last couple weeks. That's a great record. Do you get kind of annoyed when people look at the last two albums and think of them really just and they kind of combine them as just that retro sound, and they don't really understand the nuances between the Motown sound and the Sly and the Family Stone sound and those kind of?
No, I don't get upset. I just feel like, you know, I'm educating people. They don't really know. You know, they just don't know. They're not even really educated, especially like a lot of journalists. But a lot of journalists are really smart about it too. They kind of tell me things that I didn't even look at. So it's kind of a great experience to actually go out and hear what people have to say. I just think sometimes, you know, people, they don't have too many people to interview unless it's indie rock bands and indie bands, which indie is doing way cooler things than cats who got major deals.
Yep.
So when you're in a major label, people kind of throw you in this box, and I really can't be in a box. So they go like the 60s retro, Amy Winehouse, and well, I'm like, nah. I mean, and I love Amy Winehouse, nothing against her, but I just know they just taken from whatever resources they have. So I don't get upset. It's all love, you know. I'm out here just playing music, and I'm, you know, just having fun.
No doubt. So Stone Rollin' follows The Way I See It, which had tons of critical success and critical acclaim. What was your approach to tackling this project after the last one?
You know, after touring, you know, for 2 years straight, I haven't toured like that since probably the Tonys. You know, I would do like my records and go do 5 gigs and go back to the studio and produce. So being on the tour for like 2 years and, you know, playing all these different festivals just led me back into the studio to be more aggressive. And I knew I sort of know what I needed to do, and I didn't want to work too fast and come out with something that wasn't going to, like, you know, catapult me up from the last record. So I think that was my whole approach. I wasn't thinking about what kind of songs I should do. I just kind of walked in the studio and looked at the guitars, looked at the speakers, looked at the board. It was like, you better come up with something. that was the approach.
Do you ever have writer's block like that when you walk in, you're just like, I can't do it today, like I got nothing?
Oh, all the time, you know. But you just walk in the lobby and play Miss Pac-Man for like 3 days, and you come back out, and you know when it comes, it comes. You can't.
But you just have the Pac-Man melody stuck in your head at that point.
Man, nobody walks out of the studio without playing Miss Pac-Man. People get hooked on Miss Pac-Man. So you gotta just have. I guess my whole thing is you just have to have fun. I never even used the word writer's block. I'm like, people like, I'm writer's block. I'm like, what's that? You just not writing a day. You just not, every day you don't write a great song or something good that you might want to keep. But I use instruments as a hobby. I pretend I'm not in any business. I've never had any success, any records, platinum records. I kind of don't even put it in my vision. I don't even see it. I don't hang records or any of that, awards, any of that. So when you go, it's like always a new start. Like you don't really have nothing. You just...
Yeah. I always wonder this when we talk about songwriters and composers. Do you view the lyrics as directly tied to like the melodies, or can you write the lyrics on their own and then figure out the melodies, or does it all have to come at the same time?
For me, it has to come at the same time. I've done that maybe twice. I can't just write words and go, these are some beautiful words or these are some good words. But you know, for people that can do that, that's even more genius, because that's like, you know, really that's what I call poetry in motion. Yeah. When you can sit and write words and then go grab a song and go and put these words to it. So when I meet people and they go, I write poetry, I'm like, it ain't gonna help me, because I'm not gonna be able to put your words into a song. Because I have to feel music and drive around in the car for 3 days, 4 days, and then I just start singing to that song, almost like an MC rhyming, you know, like you just get a beat and you start singing to it and create over the beat.
So a lot of times when you're listening, if and when you're listening, you'll hear what's already in the song. Like
right.
The melody will come out of the song.
True. And then sometimes you'll sing and you'll make up words, and then some words you won't even say anything, and those words that you're not saying anything start to sound like words.
Yeah, it becomes a cadence. You have to start with a cadence or a rhythm.
Right.
So speaking of the studio, how much do you mix old and new technology in order to get the sound that you have? And how do you determine the right amount of effects and filtering to add to your vocals? And just, do you have any, like, I guess, part of your creative process that you would want to share with the listeners?
I think that, you know, sometimes, you know, I got a tenor voice, a very high voice, and sometimes, you know, growing up I sing a lot of pretty songs, you know, so, but a lot of records that I like is real big, dirty vocals, and, you know, so I had a hard time getting my voice to be dirty, you know what I mean? So I just started distorting my vocals, so it just go a little bit in the red, and then I started doing it when I'm not in the studio. Now I can pretty much get it on my own, but at first I couldn't really get it on my own, so I had to let it bleed over into the red a little bit, use a couple of like little, you know, filters and stuff like that, and to get it dirty, just playing with effects, just like you do on an MP. Yeah. You just got to get, you know, just get it gritty, get it bluesy, and all the records I listen to, like Holland Wolf and a lot of chess records, is, you know, dudes who have big, huge voices, and I played for people like that when I was a youngster, so I know what those vocals should sound like. So I mix it half and half. I use a lot of digital stuff, but I use a lot of analog gear. I'm a gearhead. I got tons of like old gear, but I still tell people, I could give you all my gear, you still gotta have the chops. You know, that'd be like saying getting Jordan shoes and it ain't gonna make you go for 57 in the game.
Despite Nike's marketing efforts,
it's not the shoes.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So you talked a little bit about kind of the genre, and I think I've seen you write before. In fact, you might have just tweeted about this, about the
Neosoul.
The Neosoul, yeah. And we talked to, I think it was Talib, about Neosoul, and man, he went off on the whole classification.
I'm glad somebody else does it, because I was starting to feel like I was by myself, like I was dissing like cats that actually made the music.
Nah, like Bilal hated the term.
I felt like I was speaking for all of them, because sometimes I would tweet or I would put on different people's blogs. I said I can't speak for these other cats, but I am speaking for them, because they didn't create it. It was kind of created by an executive, and I know the name of the person who created it.
Keita.
Yeah,
that's what Talib said.
Right, he created it, and it's basically a budget. It was a budget to walk in a marketing meeting and say these groups sell from 300,000 to 400,000, and the boy bands were big at that time. They forgot about them, so it was great how he, you know, got these cats in, because he said it's not old soul, it's new soul, so it's neo soul. But when it doesn't come from an artist or a creative place, to me, it's just, you can't throw us all in that bag. And I was out before that, so I wasn't even trying to be a part of it at all. I mean, I went so bad on it on the Ray Ray album. I put like a tombstone in back of the album that said Neosoul, rest in R.I.P. Like, I was like way too overboard, you know, with it.
But now you get the retro soul.
I get the retro soul. You
escape Neosoul, but now they're tagging you with retro soul.
It's lazy journalism.
It's that, and then it's just it's the whole thing about, like you said earlier, about putting it in a box. It's a part of a mechanism to help identify, to be able to commodify, sell, package. It's all a part of that machine. So
it'd be like calling Jack White neo rock.
Yeah, that'd be offensive to Jack White.
He would slam the guitar on somebody's head. But I mean, it doesn't make me that mad. I just say to people who write, I just say, especially when I go to Europe, like in London, they say Neosoul a lot, because they're over there, they're not hearing everybody.
They still love it. It never.
They're not hearing everybody talking about it in a bad way. So I try to be cool about it. Like when I tweeted that girl, I said, I'm not mad at you, but that word it sucks. And so
We'll talk about some other singers that you really respect and you're feeling right now. You know, I hate to throw them in that same classification, but I think we're seeing a lot of cats like, you know, Mayor Hawthorne, Aloe Black, people who are making great music these days. Who are some people you're listening to?
I've always been listening to Lil Dragon. I did some shows with Aloe Black. I did like a show with him in New York. Mayor Hawthorne, I did a show with it, South by Southwest. At first I wasn't really with it, the Mayor Hawthorne thing, because I was like, is he for real or he just playing with it? So I didn't want to put him in no bag with me, because I'm like, if you're gonna be doing something else next week, then you can't really ride with me.
Yeah.
You can wear the suit, but if you ain't really ride with me, you know, I can't give it to you. You gotta earn it. The suit and the tie don't do it. But then at the same time, I was like, you know, the more people who does it and can to contribute to it, it makes it bigger and better. So on that light and strength, I gave Aloe Black and all the cats at what's their label called? Stone's Throw, like, props, because they did cause a huge nice scene in LA, which wasn't there. Like, you know, in the summer they give like these nice parties.
Yeah, the do-over, right?
The do-overs, you know, all of that, and I love that they do that, and that's a community of people. So what they're doing, I'm with that. But if you're a group and you say you're really about that type of music, it's almost like being in a gang to me. It's like you giving blood to it. Like, I'm giving blood to it.
You gotta get jumped in.
You gotta get jumped in.
So speaking of Yukimi, that how did that collaboration come about? Working with her.
Well, you know, everybody's in my studios, they all indie. They just indie people. They don't listen to nothing. So I just get all this music I don't even never just dropping. And when I ran past Lil Dragon, I was just like, what? You know, then I heard Yukimi's group before Lil Dragon. You know, and I was so when I heard her, I was like, wow. So we started talking, the group, and we started sending each other music. You know, I was singing on something they had, she was singing on something I had, and so I sent her Just Don't. I said, whatever you want to do, just do whatever you want to do. She sent it back, and it happened to be one of the songs I kept for the record. And but I guess the best part of it was I had Larry Dunn from Earth, Wind & Fire, like, you know, one of the dudes I grew up opening, you know, just watching the album cover and looking at this dude, you know, in a still shot, and imagine myself being at the concert. So having him sit on his Moog and playing like solos, and then Yukimi come, you know, she sings and he comes in, that's just like, I can't even, you know, I'm still trying to reproduce it. We pretty much got the sound down, except we don't have the Larry Dunn solo on the show.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, we pulled off the Yukimi thing, but I can't wait to actually get Yukimi on stage and have her sing that song.
Yeah, she's one of our favorites. Yeah, she's been on the show a few times, and every time they were here recently a couple months ago, and every time they come, they just kill it.
Yeah,
good people too.
I saw him in Silver Lake not too long ago.
Sunday night sound session with John Moore and DJ Hyphen on KUBE 93.